Hello everyone and welcome, this is Common and Cam. Today we're going to be talking about the Transformers Armada Optimus Prime mold that was revealed a few months ago now. It's been kind of up in the air for a very long time on when is this going to be released and what part of the line is it going to be in. And a lot of fans have speculated, and while we've just been kind of left in the dark for a very long time, and we finally have new information on what is going to happen with the figure, or at least what could happen to the figure. At Wonder Festival 2020 we got a quote on what exactly is going off. No decision as to whether to put him in the Masterpiece, Generations or another line. It has been cancelled, but nothing has been decided on what to do with him, as they wanted to show the prototype to gauge interest. Now, that kind of really hit a nerve in me. Now, Optimus Prime from Transformers Armada is a very important figure for me in terms of, like, it's what got me into the series in the first place, you know, and we've not really had a good Armada Optimus Prime toy, besides from the bendy Optimus Prime, which came with a little gun minicon. I don't know where that's gone now, unfortunately, but I remember having the original Optimus Prime, and obviously, you know, the Armada toys were very bulky and they weren't really posable, and so when I saw this, I was just shocked and amazed that they were actually putting this out. I mean, recently we got Cybertron Optimus Prime from the Siege line, that we managed to blend that in with the Leader Class Optimus Prime, and obviously inspired from Cybertron. So a lot of people were wondering, well, will they do any other Optimus Primes, like from Energon or Armada, or heck, even animated? And now, out of all the Optimus Prime designs, I think Armada really stands out for me because I think it's a really good design, and when I saw this toy I was just like, wow, this is impressive. The prototype alone, you know, it's not even got any paint on it, and you can see the amounts of detail put into this. And there's all speculation as well as to whether or not they'll include the super convoy, because you can see around his crotch area where it would extend, where the legs would make his arms. You know, you can kind of see that there. So it's like, well, would they do that? Will they go that far, or is it just going to be Optimus Prime by himself? And to say that they have no idea what they're going to do with him, come on guys, come on Hasbro, Takara Tomy, what's going off here? It's a little bit of a slap in the face, you know, to kind of keep us in the dark for so long. I mean, on my community tab recently I uploaded a meme of this, like how we're waiting, and how they pretty much are kind of acting like this figure isn't important, when it kind of really is. You know, Armada was a very important show in the Transformers history, especially when it comes to like toy sales. It really boosted the market for Transformers toys again, and this would just be a good kind of like homage, a good little respect to that. You know, they've been doing a lot of Beast Wars masterpieces recently, so they've been going back to old incarnations and bringing them back, you know, especially with Generation 1, you know, the masterpieces that have been coming out for decades now, and they're finally doing Beast Wars, which is amazing. Now, personally, I wouldn't see this in the Masterpiece line, more likely a Generations. I don't know, I mean, I just don't think it has a particular engineering aspect for Masterpiece. I mean, they could, but I don't know, I think it kind of falls in with the Generations line more. At least we know it's not a part of the Siege line. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how that could have worked out anyway, because we already had a few Optimus Primes in that line, especially with the Super Convoy. It's like, well, how would this design fit in? And the whole aesthetic of that design doesn't kind of fit in with Siege's toy line anyway, because Siege is obviously just heavily influenced by Generation 1, with the exception of the Super Convoy of Optimus Prime being that from Cybertron. So if they're doing Cybertron, it's like, well, when we saw this, it was like, oh, okay, so they're doing Armada now. How would that actually work though within the Siege toy line? But personally, I think it should just be in a Generations line, or a line of its own. I don't know, I guess we'll have to wait and see officially, but it really just kind of hits a nerve how they just put it out there, and now they don't know what they're going to do with him. It would be such a waste to let this figure, you know, go, for it to be cancelled as well if they don't know what they're going to do with him. It'll just be a real unfortunate kind of situation with it, because it's a really good looking figure and it has a lot of promise. You know, the posability on it looks amazing, the design, the head sculpt, almost every part of it just looks really, really good. I know it's just a prototype, but that's just the thing, it is just a prototype, and it already looks this impressive, you know, even without no paint. So who knows what the future of this particular toy is going to be, but because Armada Optimus Prime is a unique design in my opinion, I think it really does deserve its shot. If Transformers Cybertron and Optimus Prime can get his reincarnation sort of swathed back in there. I think the same could be for the Armada Optimus Prime, without a doubt. I mean, the Armada series is an important series in Transformers lore, and to not give it kind of like this treatment of a figure, it'd be such a shame, especially with us having so many Beast Wars masterpieces revealed recently. Start chiming in other branches as well, you know, let it not just be Beast Wars or Generation 1. But if they don't know what's going to happen with the figure, it could be a long time until we get this figure to be released. It could possibly be even next year, because if they haven't figured out what to do with it at this point in time, I mean, even though they have the prototype, it's still going to probably take a lot of time to probably manufacture it all and figure out what kind of line and the specific timing and the kind of toy line, you know, what could it go in, or if they'll make a new branch of its own. I don't see them making a new toy line. I think they'll probably put it into Generations or whatever, but it's going to be a long time, unfortunately, until we get to see this figure again. And it's a big shame, you know, because this is a standout figure, and it's actually a really good looking figure. It's kind of unfortunate for me, because whenever there's a good Transformers toy coming out, it's either really expensive or it just doesn't get released. I remember with Transformers Animated, there was a lot of unreleased toys that they showed off in the Allspark Almanac, and I remember being super pumped and excited, but then obviously, you know, they were cancelled, and it was just like, oh, okay, now I guess that's my Transformers Animated collection, you know, just kind of gone there, or the full maximum. Like, I wanted to get the Optimus Prime super power up from there was only a Takara version, but unfortunately that was just a Takara version. It was pretty expensive, so the exclusivity is kind of a killer, but then being just flat out cancelled or unreleased, it hurts even more. And who knows, the possibilities, if this figure does really well, maybe like with the Beast Wars masterpieces, Hasbro will kind of think of ideas of like doing other toy lines, you know, like finishing off the Armada toy line in this kind of style. You know, they'll give Hot Shot or Red Alert, you know, proper good action figures, because the designs from Transformers Armada were actually pretty good, and they were a standout for the series. I think with Energon, the designs just got kind of lackluster and not really creative, but with Armada, the start of the Unicorn trilogy, they really had some good designs. And if this toy does not get made, if it's just passed on or inspired for future masterpieces, you know, with them doing Generation 1 and then them doing Beast Wars, maybe they'll start doing Armada masterpieces. Maybe it'll be a good start in a direction for them to take inspiration from this. But I'm hoping that this doesn't get cancelled. Like I said, it's a good looking figure. I would want to see how well it does, especially, you know, for them to branch out and hopefully do more. I mean, just having an Armada Megatron, because we've already had that. We've had a Megatron come out that was heavily influenced by the Armada Megatron. You know, they went back to those old shows and they took inspiration from that, like with the Megatron, and it was like they were just starting something off here with this Optimus. So yeah, I know it's a lot to talk about in just one video and just one specific figure, but it's kind of like a topic in itself for just a singular toy that fans, you know, within the Transformers community get really excited for, but it either just doesn't get released or it just gets shifted, and we are just like left in the dark on like, okay, what's happening? So hopefully Takara and Hasbro make up their minds on what exactly is going to go off of his figure. I'd love to have a Starscream, Cyclonus, Demolisher, you know, figure in this mold, in this style, because the Armada toys, they could have been better, and I think the Armada line deserves a bit of justice. I hope it doesn't take ages to get more information out of this. Hopefully there'll be, you know, it'll be showed off in a few months' time with full-on paint and details and when exactly it's going to come out, because I think a lot of people are going to be eager to get this. I'm definitely going to get it, because this show is important to me. I think it'll be a good way to just put on my desk, you know, just to not remind me, but just sort of like have my way of going, yeah, this was the figure, this was the Optimus Prime that I was first introduced to properly, that got me involved in this franchise in the first place. And it's the reason why I'm doing YouTube videos today. So for me, it's a personal matter, but obviously let me know what you think in the comment section below, and for more updates, click that notification bell to get all of them instantly. This has been Common and Cam, and until the next video, goodbye.